Luke, before I move on to that, can I just say thank you to everyone for coming out tonight and for everyone for hosting this. Again, I said Anna for letting me view the orchard and go for that. It's been a really great event. This is actually my first public hustings I've ever done, so it was a bit of a nerve-wracking thing coming here, but it's been very relaxing. Everyone's been so kind. All the questions have been very poignant, and it's been a really, really good evening. So thank you very, very much for that. I go back to what I said at the beginning, really, which is we need sustainable transport, absolutely. And my big thing, the thing I've been trying to echo for so long within my party, is light rail. We've heard it so much tonight. But again, I come back to, if we want light rail, you need the infrastructure in place. You can't just put it on the road. It needs to have viable infrastructure. And I do see this as a piece of the puzzle where we can actually get some tangible light rail in the future. And it will make a big, big difference for the people who live in Camborne and a big, big difference for the people who live in Cambridge. And there's a lot of them. So that's where I stand, that's where I'm at. And hopefully we can get seeing some things being done in the immediate future, because this has been quite a long process in the making.
Luke, thank you. Luke Viner for the Labour Party. Chris Carter Chapman.
So, thank you, echoing what Luke has said there, to everyone who's come out to hear what we have to say tonight. We've covered a lot of issues, lots of them are nuanced, there are different positions, different facts and figures you've heard. None of them are as clear-cut as why we are primarily here tonight, and that is C2C. And we're talking about the public inquiry, and we're talking about all the evidence to come. The evidence is already there. It is a terribly bad scheme. It is really bad value for money. It costs far too much taxpayers' money when the alternative is so much cheaper, so much more efficient, and doesn't lead to the destruction of an ancient orchard. We owe it to the next generation. They say that you plant trees for the next generation. Well, we owe it to the people who planted those trees to safeguard their work. We owe it to our local environment and our local communities to stand up and be clear on where we all stand on this. And I went through the votes earlier tonight. It's very clear-cut where each political party stands on this issue and how they voted when they were confronted with all the evidence, the public opinion, the ratio of people who wanted it and didn't want it, and all the financial reality. So if I'm your MP, we will not rest until we save Coton Orchard.
Oliver Fisher for the Greens.
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you for the people coming tonight, but also the video tonight. I thought that was absolutely amazing. I think it highlighted all of the issues in such a kind of very poignant way, and the beautiful scenes of nature and animals in the orchard, etc. So that was fantastic. I think the scheme as it stands is not a good scheme. I am supportive of the fact that there is a scheme, but I just don't think cutting across the orchard is a good idea. And we have to explore the alternative routes. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
And finally, Pippa, have you changed or amended your opinion that you shared with us, that you were supportive of the idea as it stands?
No, I think what's really important is in the room tonight are two groups, very, very important, that aren't here represented. And one, that's young people and families that are living on the fringes and who are absolutely dependent on public transport and high-quality public transport now. The other is nature. It's nature and biodiversity. It's being brought into the room by all of you and by the film and by the campaigns that you're running. The next process, I'm not one for cutting consultations short in the middle, stopping due process. The next stage in the decision-making is with the Secretary of State for a Transport Works Order. What's really good has been corrected, so there has to be a public inquiry. And in that public inquiry, I will be making representation. I don't think this should be any more treated like a public political football. What we need is, things have been said in documents that have been challenged. I want to see that brought out into the public domain. And I want, therefore, the evidence to be looked at to see particularly, I think it all rests in the end on that pinch point around Madingley as to whether this part is on-road and off-road. And I want to see that with public voices heard, with all the evidence forward in that public inquiry, because that's the last stage. That's what I'd like to see.
Pippa Halings there, from the Lib Dems. That draws to a conclusion our evening. It just leaves me to say a few thank yous. Firstly, I'll just go through the candidates just so you know exactly what it was you heard from. Pippa Halings, who's the prospective parliamentary candidate for the Lib Dems. My thanks also to Oliver Fisher, who is the candidate for the Green Party. To Chris Carter-Chapman, who's the candidate for the Conservatives. And my thanks also to Luke Viner, who is representing the Labour Party this evening.